Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for an absolutely epic, spiritually immersive journey. We are going to explore a story that has literally captivated minds and humbled hearts for centuries. I'm talking about the divine, incredibly mysterious fifth avatar of Lord Vishnu. This whole narrative, it's got suspense, it's got awe-inspiring cosmic transformations, and honestly, a profound lesson about the true nature of power that is just as relevant to us today as it was way back in ancient times.
Now, I want you to imagine this for a second. What if the absolute most powerful king in the entire universe lost everything? And I don't mean in some massive, world-ending war. He wasn't defeated by advanced weapons or rival armies. No, he lost it all to a tiny little Brahmin boy. It sounds impossible, right? Well, the secret here is that this innocent-looking child was actually none other than Lord Vishnu himself in disguise. Let's dive into exactly how this unbelievable event unfolded.
All right, let's get into Section 1, The Unbeatable King, The Rise of Mahabali.
So, before we meet the boy, you really got to understand the king. Long ago, there ruled a mighty and generous monarch named Mahabali, usually just called King Bali. Now, he wasn't your typical tyrannical villain. Actually, scratch that. He was highly respected. He was fearless, powerful, and commanded deep respect across all three worlds. Under his reign, his kingdom truly prospered. The people were genuinely happy, there was basically zero suffering, and by all accounts, he was a remarkably generous and wildly successful leader.
But, and there's always a but, right? Here is where the fatal flaw creeps in. You see, with all that growing power came a whole lot of growing pride. Slowly, King Bali began to believe a very dangerous thought. There is no one greater than me. His ego essentially swelled right alongside his empire, and this absolute, unchecked power started to threaten the very fabric of existence itself. The situation got so incredibly dire that even the gods started to panic. They were terrified of losing their place in heaven. Completely helpless against Bali's immense might, they turned to the ultimate protector. They prayed to Vishnu, absolutely begging him to intervene and restore balance before this runaway pride completely consumed the universe.
Which brings us to Section 2, A Divine Disguise, the Boy at the Ritual.
So the stage is set during this massive, grand, sacred ritual being performed by King Bali himself. One peaceful morning, right in the middle of all this pomp and circumstance, a small, young Brahmin boy walks into the royal court. No thunder, no invading armies. He was just calm, simple, peaceful. Yet there was something strangely divine about him. This little boy was the Vamana Avatar, Lord Vishnu wearing a brilliant, totally unassuming disguise. And his mere presence was so intensely captivating that the entire bustling royal court just fell completely silent.
King Bali, playing the part of the ever-generous and proud ruler, smiled and welcomed his young visitor. Basking in his own total superiority, Bali makes this incredible offer. He says, "Young Brahmin, ask for anything you desire." He literally offered him gold, land, riches, entire kingdoms. Bali was ready to just give away unimaginable wealth, mostly just to showcase his own absolute greatness.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. With all the riches of the three worlds basically laid at his feet, the young boy calmly replies that he only wants 3 simple steps of land. That's the whole request, just 3 steps measured by his own tiny feet. The entire royal court absolutely erupted into laughter. They couldn't believe it. I mean, all this wealth, and he just wants 3 little steps?
And King Bali, smiling proudly at what he thought was just a trivial, foolish request from a kid, doesn't even hesitate. He puffs up his chest and boldly declares, "Granted." And in that exact, fleeting moment, he completely sealed his own fate. Moving on to Section 3, The Cosmic Reveal, Expanding Beyond Imagination. Because literally the very second King Bali made that promise, the impossible happened. That serene, quiet atmosphere of the royal court completely shattered. The tiny Brahmin boy began to grow, and grow, and grow. His divine form expanded utterly beyond human imagination. This wasn't just some magic trick, it was a cosmic-level event. Mountains trembled. The skies violently shook with the force of his expansion. The entire universe essentially stood still as Lord Vishnu revealed his true, awe-inspiring, magnificent cosmic form right there in front of the completely stunned king. Then the measuring actually began. With his very first step, Vamana didn't just walk across the courtyard. Oh no, he covered the entire earth.
Absolutely everything Bali ruled in the mortal realm was swallowed up in a single massive stride.
And with his second step, that immense cosmic form reached upward and outward, instantly covering the heavens and the entirety of the universe. Just like that, in 2 steps, the Supreme Divine had claimed absolutely everything that existed.
Suddenly, the booming expansion stopped. A heavy, intensely thick silence filled the air. Lord Vishnu looked down at the tiny king and asked the ultimate question. King Bali, where shall I place my 3rd step? Think about it. There was literally no land left. There were no heavens left. This brings us to Section 4, the ultimate lesson, humility and devotion.
In that profound, heavy silence, King Bali finally realized the absolute truth. The illusion of his own supreme power just shattered into a million pieces. He realized this was no ordinary guest. He was standing face to face with the Supreme Divine. But here's where the story pivots from just a raw display of cosmic power into this incredibly beautiful testament of devotion. Instead of getting angry or cowering away in fear, King Bali simply bowed his head. He looked up at Lord Vishnu, his voice completely soft with reverence, and said, "Lord, place your 3rd step upon my head." In that exact beautiful moment, every ounce of his towering pride completely vanished, replaced by ultimate humility.
Now it's true, on a purely physical level, King Bali lost his entire kingdom. He lost his massive wealth, his vast lands, his untouchable status. But you have to look at what he gained. Because of his profound honesty, his total surrender, and his unshakable devotion to keeping his promise, Lord Vishnu blessed him. Bali gained divine blessings and an eternal respect that vastly, vastly outshines any earthly crown you could ever wear.
The story of the Vamana Avatar leaves us with an absolutely incredible moral. It shows us that power without humility creates a dangerous imbalance. But true greatness, that only comes from surrender, honesty, and humility. Sure, King Bali was great when he ruled all 3 worlds, but he only achieved true, lasting greatness when he chose to simply bow his head.
And honestly, this brings us to a really beautiful realization that every single one of us can apply to our own lives. We all face those tough moments where we lose something important or our pride takes a massive, unexpected hit. But sometimes life humbles us not to punish us, but to make us wiser. Those painful obstacles that strip away our ego, they're often just amazing opportunities disguised as setbacks, meant to give us profound spiritual wisdom. This mythological journey is just such a striking reminder of where our true strength actually lies. And I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder today. If the creator of the entire universe can shrink down to the size of a humble little child just to restore balance, how much space is our own pride taking up in our lives right now? Did this inspiring story teach you something valuable today? If it did, drop a comment below and type Jai Shri Hari Vishnu. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and above all, stay humble.